Hello, everybody. It's Daryn Wood, and welcome back to another episode of The Gift of Gab. Last episode, we talked about a bunch of the 2024 New Player's Handbook changes that we liked, and today we are going to talk about some of the spell changes specifically. And I'm joined here by my best friend, Allie Haugen. Say hello.
Hey, hey.
Hi, hi. All right, so today we're going to, again, like the last episode, we're not going to get into the minutia of every single spell that's changed from the 2014 to the 2024. Just some key ones or ones that we've liked and are significant to us. So what's your favorite one that's changed so far?
Ooh, my favorite? Maybe Witch Bolt.
Ooh, yeah.
So Witch Bolt is the one where you attack, and if you hit the target, you're attached by a chain of lightning, more or less. The original range was 30 feet. They now upped it to 60 feet.
Very nice.
And they added a little sentence of clarification that regardless of whether your initial attack hit or did not hit, you are still attached by that lightning chain.
Yeah.
And so on your subsequent turns, as long as you are maintaining concentration, the target is within the 60 feet of range, and they don't have total cover from you, you automatically get to deal as a bonus action now, not even your full action anymore.
Yeah.
As a bonus action, you get to automatically deal 1d12 of damage to that target.
That makes it so much more useful.
So awesome.
Because Witch Bolt was mostly just used as like a lightning damage spell, because that's basically what it was. It's like, oh, I want to deal 1d12 of lightning. Hope I hit. And if you don't hit, well, I didn't hit. So it felt like Firebolt, but just lightning bolt, kind of, because it was like there's not a lot you can do with it. This gives it a lot more versatility.
It's also huge for spellcasters that don't traditionally have bonus action economy.
Yeah.
So now they use their action economy to cast a Witch Bolt one time. It's connected. And so now they have something fun and cool and a damage thing they get to do as their bonus action every turn for however long it lasts.
Yeah, and I think that also makes the battlefield a little more creative. Like, this is a gripe I always have with like the way they depict magic in like Marvel movies, and not even just Marvel movies, like a lot of modern movies. Like, they depict magic as just like laser guns, you know what I'm talking about? Where it's just like a pew, pew, force blast, pew, 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 force blast. And it's like, no, if you actually had magic, you'd be doing crazy fucking shit with it. Yeah. That's why I really like that Doctor Strange Madness. What do you know what I'm talking about? The one with the Scarlet Witch, because they were doing weird ass shit. Because I'm like, the magic in the Marvel comics, it's actually like super funky, really cool. They have like these like alternate dimensions. It's sick. If you had magic, you would do crazy shit. And so it's like, no, I'm not just shooting like a laser gun with my hand.
It would look a lot more elemental.
Yeah,
like the lightning storms that you're seeing in theirs.
And it's like causing them to not just be hit with a lightning bolt. It's like, okay, now it's attached to me, so I gotta run, I gotta find cover, I gotta move away. So it's like, I have, now that it like implores that person to change their response to it, because that's kind of what battle should be, right? It's like, I do this, now what? And it's like, well, so instead of just like, I hit you, you hit back. You hit me, I hit back. It's like, I hit you with a Witch Bolt, and you're going to keep getting damage unless you do something about it. So are you going to come up to me in close contact, move towards me and hit me? Or are you going to try to move away from me? Are you going to try to find cover? Like,
yeah, you want to try to break
or do you
my
want to keep
concentration?
taking 1d12? Like, I like that. I feel like it makes it a little more creative.
I love it. It really upped it.
And it's like a first level spell, right? Which is like great, because I feel like there's not a lot of like super, super fun first level damage spells. So I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there is, but it makes it more fun.
Yeah. Another big one that's actually, it's not big, but in my opinion, it makes such a huge difference. Healing Word is now 2d4s opposed to 1d4.
It's
not a huge
God
difference,
bless.
but 2d4.
praise him.
I love it. I love that. A dinky little 1d4 for your bonus action heal spell is... it sometimes could feel so irrelevant. So just having that extra 1d4 gives a little bit more oomph to your heals.
Yeah. And praise him, I mean praise the people who wrote the D&D book.
Yeah. Whoever decided that needed an oomph.
But no, that's such a good thing. Because like healing word can sometimes feel so like...
And it's a whole ass spell slot.
It feels really inconsequential. Like when you're in it, right? Like you're in the throes of battle. There's like nothing you don't know what to do, how to help, but someone is in trouble, but you're not going to make, and then you're like, I give you 2 hit points.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Goodbye.
It's really like you basically you just save it for if somebody's downed to prevent them from death saves is I guess how I always used it, because you're not giving them enough hit points to suffer another blow.
I think it's like cognizant of the fact that like damage can be a lot more strategically managed now, meaning like people who will like have a better understanding of like how to build characters, how to do combat, or whatever the way that looks. There are not a lot of rounds where like something like a D4 of healing can make a difference. Like if you give someone a D4 of healing and they get hit the next turn, most likely with +2s, +4s to like weapon hits and all that kind of, most likely they're going to go down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to, like, it's kind of a losing game. So it's like, I heal you for 4, but every spell is going to do at least a D6 of damage on this. And so it's like, it's just, it makes it feel really inconsequential. So it is huge to have. Just like, just a tiny little something. Like,
especially at the lower levels. When, you know, you maybe, your minimal hit points are all you have. So it makes such a huge difference. And especially having limited spell slots. You know, you're starting as a spellcaster. You have 2 spell slots, and one of them is Healing Word.
And it's like you use it and then it's immediately negated in the next action. And you're like, okay. So I really do like that.
The wizard's down again.
Yeah, I think that's a good, that's because it's not like it's like another D4 is going to give you an astronomical amount of more, but it's like, it's just something.
Yeah.
It's a little, it could be 8. It could be 8.
Yeah.
It could be 2.
Yeah, it still could be low, but it gives the option. It's kind of, I feel like it's along the same lines of how they changed the drinking a potion. They just gave you that option, that home rule that everybody was already feeling like if you use a full action for something, if you use a whole spell slot, like, just give me just a bit more.
What's it gonna harm? Like, another one that I liked is the changes to Ray of Enfeeblement.
Ooh,
Ray of Enfeeblement, like, it's one of those ones that sounds really cool. Like, I enfeeble you. And I always, like, mistakenly in my mind think it's going to be psychic damage or like some kind of, like, mentally, like, I'm going to totally enfeeble you.
Yeah.
But you know, to like totally make someone like, I don't know, like catatonic or something, or like disable them from doing something. But all it did previously in the 2014 version, you had to make a ranged spell attack, and if you hit, then it would only have strength-based attacks. So it was like truly only for people that were just wailing on you with strength-based attacks if you wanted to lower that damage. But now, kind of like what it sounds like, it minuses a D8 to all attacks.
It's a saving throw now, isn't it?
Yes, it's a Constitution saving throw.
Nice.
So like which makes more sense.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like Constitution saving throw just like logically makes more sense. And then it's a penalty to all attacks, which also I feel like makes more sense for Ray of Enfeeblement. I like that. I do like that flavor. Yeah.
Speaking of saving throws making more sense, the changes to the sleep spell, I feel like also make more sense, because previously it was an allotted pool of hit points that could make targets go to sleep. And now it's a area of effect spell versus a save. It's either wisdom or con. Wisdom save. Yeah. And if they fail that, then they go to sleep, which I feel like just sounds more appropriate.
Just like makes way okay. Maybe I'm dumb, or maybe like I feel like this is common though, but like who was calculating those hit points? Like I would sometimes look at sleep as a spell and like if I wanted to do it for a very specific purpose sometimes I'd be like, who's gonna?
Well, especially because
I'm not gonna do.
I feel like
I've been doing math all night. I can do more.
I feel like it's also a little bit meta that you would have to go, because not a lot of times you don't know the enemy's hit points.
Actually,
so then it's really a big gamble as a player to use that spell, because unless your DM is super transparent about the enemy's hit points, which like usually they try to not tell you.
Yeah, it's like it really go either way.
So yeah, then you're just like, I don't know, either I keep track of how many hit points, which gives this really meta feeling to it.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh, okay, it took 14 hit points to get the goblin down. Yeah. Versus, or you just risk it all. You're like, no idea. Best of luck.
Yeah, because then you're like, oh, I'm like waiting for people to get to a certain level of hurtness.
And then I just try.
And then I put them to sleep. But if this hurtness person does not equal to this person's hurtness, then this person's hurtness allows them to sleep with this person, because it's like, it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
It's like, you can figure it out, but it is one of those things that's like an extra step of confusing that probably does not have to be.
It just
that
makes more sense
confusing.
now.
How do people get out of sleep now? I actually don't know.
So basically, when the spell takes effect, it's just kind of like a light snooze when they fail that first wisdom save.
Okay.
They make another wisdom save at the end of their turn. If they fail that one, they no longer have just the incapacitated condition. It moves to the unconscious condition. And then they get out of that if either somebody attacks them or somebody within 5 feet uses an action to physically shake them out of their sleep.
Oh, it's kind of like a balanced stunning strike.
It is very similar to Stunning Strike.
Because like Stunning Strike is like really, because it's like the end of their next turn, then they get to possibly get out of it, make another save, blah, blah, blah. And like that, at sleep, they get to make the save again every turn to possibly like get out of it.
Well, not even every turn, just one turn. If they fail twice, then it deepens and they slip into a deeper sleep that they're now unconscious. They don't get any more saving rolls. They just have to either be attacked or be awoken.
But I do like that, because then it's like, it's not like a, Stunning Strike where it is what it is. It's like someone can just decide to wake you up, but then they have to just spend their turn
waking you up,
trying to wake you up or shooting you with something with a range. Yeah. I like that. That makes way more sense.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think it just sounds appropriate for the title and kind of what you want out of a spell called sleep.
Yeah. And area of effect makes
a very small area. I mean, a 60-foot range, but only a 5-foot area, 5-foot cube. So
yeah, that's like a very reasonable amount. I like that. I think any bigger, it would have to be a way higher level
like
spell.
2 guards at a door.
I wonder, does the range expand if you upcast it? But no, it doesn't. It just stays a 5, which actually that's probably for the best. I think it would be too OP if you could make it like everyone go to sleep. Like I think that's very fair.
Perfect for a level 1 spell. It does the job that you're wanting it to do.
Exactly. Another good one that made the spell way better is True Strike.
Oh
yes. True Strike was kind of like
useless.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Drag her.
You know what? It fucking sucked. Who was out here using True Strike? Let us know. Let us know if you let
True Strike's
me
your
know
favorite
if
cantrip?
you ever used True Strike
Boo.
and you enjoyed it. The 5e version. Fucking let me know.
Yeah, because like True Strike before was literally like you pick a target and then on your next turn your weapon
you have advantage
with your weapon attack. It was very limited. It was like one of those things where it's like, why would I waste my turn where I could do damage using True Strike to maybe do like it just felt like wasted economy.
Yeah. So now it's just straight up a damage cantrip.
Yeah.
So you use your spellcasting modifier both for attack and damage roll, and you can choose whether you want to deal radiant damage or your weapons damage, whether that's slashing or piercing, which is cool because if you have both, if you're a spellcaster, so you have the opportunity to have kind of that martial and melee attack economy for your action. Or also, if you do use your weapon property, if you are maybe multi-classed with a martial class as well, you can choose to use the weapons property and benefit from Vex or Cleave or Topple, any of those properties. So you kind of have the option.
Yeah. Takes it from useless to something a little more interesting.
Yeah, great for a cantrip. Kind of all we really need.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, there's a lot of fun changes, a lot of clarification. Like we mentioned in a previous video, how they added specific words to clarify that web, the spell, is indeed flammable, and grease is not flammable.
Yeah.
So they made some clarifications on spells like that. Another modification that I don't know if I like it. I don't know. I guess I haven't used it yet. I don't know if it's balanced, but Counterspell is no longer it succeeds if it's the same level or higher than the spell cast. It is always against a con save. So it doesn't matter what level Counterspell you cast, you're always gonna roll for it to succeed. I don't know.
I'm kind of torn too. I don't know. Like, I get it. I do get it. like, I get that, like, the counterspelling can get really fucking annoying.
Yeah. You know, the whole, like, Spider-Man, counterspell.
And, like, I think, like, a lot of the things, especially in, like, the 2024 stuff, kind of takes away from, like, keeping people from not doing shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I do this cool spell. Just kidding. No, you don't. Just kidding. No, you don't. Like, I get how that can be, like, OP and a little annoying and a little bit, like, disruptive to, like, the flow of a combat session.
I know.
I don't know, though.
I don't know. Perhaps it is in fact more balanced, but I don't know.
Yeah, always a con save. So that means, like, if you're gonna play a spellcaster, you better always have a good con, or at least take Warcaster.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
something like,
yeah,
you gotta,
definitely Warcaster is huge. I've already always loved Warcaster.
Yeah, like,
as
who
a
doesn't love a little Warcaster? But it's like, you got to really be. So if you're playing a caster now, make them
it's not even
war.
it's actually whoever you're counterspelling has to make the con save.
Yeah, but, like, if someone counterspells you.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's like, you have to pay attention that, like, you can't just be like, oh, you know, maybe, like, I'll keep my It's good to make sure that I can maintain my concentration spells, but I'm not going to be someone who does a lot of concentration spells, so I won't really need that. It's like,
if you're trying to counterspell,
you gotta keep an eye on
wizards, bards, get your con up.
Yeah, because you don't know if you're gonna experience another caster in the field, and then you're just gonna get counterspelled left, right, and center. Yeah,
either you or just in general having. I don't know.
I guess it's hard to say, because it's like, these are all, like, personal experience opinions, right? Where it's like, I haven't experienced the annoyance of someone over counterspelling.
See, I have, but it was kind of fun. It was fun. I guess I can see where there is a line drawn, and when you get in those high level parties where the big bads and a caster heavy party, if there's, like, 4 people that have counterspell and it goes counterspell, well, he counterspells your counterspell, well, that other mage counterspells your counterspell, well, I counterspell your counterspell, and that's a little, it's a lot. I get that.
Yeah, I think I'm where you're at. I don't know. It's kind of how I feel. I don't know if I want to talk about it in this video. I think I want to talk about it in another video when we can kind of get more into the details of it. It's kind of how I feel about the changes made to the Paladin class with the Divine Smite change.
And needing to...
Yeah, I get it. I don't know. And that's how I feel about Counterspell. I get it.
Like, is it balanced, or do I
don't know.
Is it balanced or nerfed? You know what? We're going to have a whole other episode of breaking down, like, welcome to today's episode of Is It Balanced or Nerfed?
Balanced or Nerf?
Balanced or Nerf?
Someone's Googling it on YouTube, like, and there's just, like, a surfer who, like, also plays with Nerf guns.
Balanced or Nerf, bros?
And they're like, I was trying to actually look up balancing and nerfing. What's this fucking
We're
video?
actually on a surfboard with Nerf guns.
Just like,
welcome to today's Balanced or Nerfed. Pew pew.
Okay, I think that about does it today for all of our notable spell changes from the 2024 Player's Handbook. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of The Gift of Gab.
The Gift of Gab.
The Gift of Gab. Bye.
Bye.